self-harm. When it comes to self-harm, so many people think of, cutting, bruising, headbanging, burning, and those types of things. While they are forms of self-harm, there are also many sneaky ways and sometimes unrecognizable ways of self-harm. And it's really, really important so that we can recognize that in others as well as in ourselves and call it what it is. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. I'm Long Island's eating disorder specialist. I post on this channel 3 times a week all about eating disorders, body image issues, and general mental health. So if any of that interests you, or you could find it helpful, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button down below. As always, if you liked this video or found it helpful at the end, I would greatly appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, because that helps other people who are also struggling find my channel, and I hope help them as well. Also, I have an Instagram and a blog that I post on every week that you are more than welcome to check out. I will leave those links in the description below. Self-harm typically is a means of coping. Sometimes when a person is struggling with some mental health issue or issue in their life, then they may turn to physical bodily harm in order to kind of cope with whatever is they're feeling. However, as I said before, there are other sneaky ways of self-harm that we may not even realize that we're doing. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 ways of self-harm. And this isn't to give you ideas. I know that some people fear that. It is really so that if you are engaging in any of these types of behaviors, to recognize that this might be what you are actually engaging in. One form of self-harm is in the way of relationships. You may start to isolate yourself, or you may actually continue to stay in or seek out abusive relationships. You may choose to stay with people, or again, seek people who are not good for you, who are not good, and that doesn't mean always romantic relationships. While it can mean romantic relationships, that might be in friendships, that might even be in family relationships. And this is a means of self-harm. And of course, isolating can keep you stuck in your own head. It can, obviously, it's going to not be helpful for you in terms of forming and maintaining healthy, long-lasting relationships with others, and that is detrimental. And as I said before, a form of self-harm. Another form, number 2, another form that self-harm can take is deprivation. And you may deprive yourself, which is basically saying no to things that might bring you joy or happiness, or just, make you feel a little bit better for that moment. So you may choose to not engage in things that could help you to feel better. Deprivation may take on different forms. For instance, that you're punishing yourself in a way by not going out shopping. And it's not because you're trying to save money, it's because you are trying to deprive yourself, because for one reason or another you don't feel you deserve it, and therefore it's a way that you are able to self-harm yourself through deprivation. Number 3, another way that people engage in self-harm behaviors is through reckless behaviors. And this may take on the form of promiscuity, or reckless behaviors such as driving recklessly, or engaging in substance use or alcohol abuse. Obviously, these things tend to not be so great for us, and that might be something that you're using as a form of self-harm. The 4th way of people self-harming is through food. Of course, that would come up in an eating disorder channel. So food might be another way that you are self-harming, and that might be in a myriad of ways. So one is by overindulging in foods that may not be the best for you, but to a point where you maybe are feeling pain or discomfort. That might be a form of abuse, to where you're actually having health issues as a result. Another way is that obviously through restricting or through purging. These are also ways that you are punishing yourself. Again, it might not be so much done on a conscious level, but as I've talked about in many other videos, is that eating disorders develop as a coping mechanism. And in and of itself, it's just another form of self-harm. We don't normally call it that, just blank straight out, because we normally call it and reference to it as an eating disorder. However, do not let that fool you, because eating disorders are harmful and they are forms of self-harm. Number 5, and the last one that I'm going to talk about today, again, this isn't a whole and all-inclusive type of list, but number 5 is not listening to the treatment team's recommendation. So if you are seeing a therapist, psychiatrist, nutritionist, whatever the case might be, if you are seeing them and they are giving you recommendations that you are purposely or for whatever reason you are not taking, that could also be another form of self-harm. So for instance, maybe your psychiatrist is recommending that you take antidepressants. However, because you are trying to engage in self-harm, or you are not trying to feel better, you might purposely, again, this might not be on a conscious level, but you may purposely not take your antidepressants as prescribed or as at all. And that might be, I'm not saying, it's a whole separate case if you really feel like it's not good for you. I'm not saying that is, always the case if you don't take the medication. However, if it comes down to you not taking it because it's the way that you can actually feel better, and there's a part of you that either doesn't think that you deserve it, or you kind of want to feel this way or in not a good state, then that might be a form of self-harm. Another form in under this umbrella is not going to a higher level of care if your treatment team is recommending it. Again, because that can make you feel better, that can help you along in your recovery. But sometimes it is better for you, or you feel that it's better for you, if you could just maintain being in this horrible state that you're in. And again, this is a form of self-harm. Self-harm, as I kind of went through, can take on many different forms. Of course, there's a physical bodily harm that we think of every time that, or most times that people mention self-harm, but also in the other forms that I mentioned today, and there are plenty more as well. The reason that I bring these terms up, or these reasons or forms up today, is so that you can be honest with yourself. If you're watching this video and any of these sounds like you need to be honest with yourself, and I truly believe that you need to look the devil in its mouth, and I think that's a saying, but you need to be able to call something what it is in order to truly be able to tackle it the right way that it needs to be tackled. If we just say, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's not that big of a deal, then we're not actually tackling the behavior or whatever is going on. However, if we're able to recognize that it's a self-harm behavior, then we can deal with it accordingly. But that takes admitting it to yourself that you are engaging in a self-harm behavior, and that might be very new for you, and it might be hard for you to accept that. However, just sit with that, and I really hope that you do seek out help and get a therapist to help you through this journey. But at the very least, I really hope that you continue to use this channel to help you along your recovery journey, or just your self-improvement journey, because that could be helpful as well. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if there was anything that I didn't mention today that you think is important to put out there, that is also another form of self-harm. You could click my face over here to subscribe to my channel, and I wish you awareness on your journey to finding your state of balance. I will see you in my next video.